We're back. We are so thrilled to welcome back an NBC legend, Martin Fletcher, an award-winning journalist. He spent more than 3 decades at NBC News, first as a cameraman, then a foreign correspondent. He served in our Tel Aviv bureau.
That's right. Martin's assignments took him just about everywhere, covering global conflicts and also amazing stories of peace.
And since leading the daily grind, Mr. Fletcher has gone all in on writing books. His latest book, Teachers, The Ones I Can't Forget, features images and stories of some of the folks he's covered along the way. And to honor this work, NBC teamed up with Christie's Auction House here at Rockefeller Center to debut an exhibit that opens this week.
Martin, you haven't changed a bit. I mean, we knew you back in the bureau in Tel Aviv. And since you're here, because I want to get to the book, but before we do, we're watching everything that's going on in Tel Aviv this morning. What does it look like from your perspective?
Huge. This is a big, big day. You know, for the Histadrut, the trades union, went on strike today, joined by the private sector for the first time. There's 35,000 people at the airport trying to get out and they can't get on a plane. The Prime Minister was supposed to give an announcement at 10 o'clock Israel time about what's going to happen. That's about, I think it was about 6 hours ago.
So what can happen with the government today?
Well, the people, the right wing, that wants these legislative reforms to go through are threatening to resign from the government if they don't go through. This is a big day in the history of Israel today.
Wow, wow.
Let's talk about this book.
Now you're talking.
There we go. Let's get to it.
What was the impetus, Martin, for this particular book?
Well, actually, it's my 7th book. I didn't want to write a book. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to create something new, join freeze frames from news stories that I did for nightly news on the Today Show, and turn them into some kind of, look at them in a different way. And I created these images which are really close to my heart. And they're basically people that I met on the worst days of their lives who inspired me. You know, these are lessons I learned from these people, and I carry them around in my head all the time.
Let's break down some of the people who you met, because I like how you call them teachers, and sometimes teachers come in unlikely forms. Yeah. So tell us about a couple of them.
Well, first of all, I did terribly in school. I have to say that. So my experience with teachers comes from the world, the real world. And I just, as I say, I met these people and I was so inspired by them. And there were so many, the lives, as a journalist, you know, I reported on people on the worst days of their lives. That's basically what I did. And then I looked at them pick up the pieces. And I learned from them.
Who was unforgettable to you?
Well, the one everybody in this exhibition was unforgettable to me. I began it with Evelyn, little girl I met in Kampala, Uganda. And I began the book with her too. And she, is still in my head and I can't get her out. 8 years old. Her mother died of AIDS. Her father died of AIDS. She's got AIDS. She's an orphan living in an orphanage. And I met her in a school. And this is the school book that's impressed me so much. Under the name of the school, she wrote School of Struggle. And under the name of the class, instead of maths or geography, she wrote Class of Hope.
Class of Hope.
School of Struggle, Class of Hope. An 8-year-old girl. I never forgot that little girl. Her name is Evelyn. And what did she hope to be? She wanted to be a pilot.
What about the young woman who was a would-be suicide bomber? And it didn't go off. How?
That was one of the most. This is a unique picture that you've never seen anywhere anywhere else. It was taken from an Israeli security camera. It showed the suicide bomber, and what she's doing is she's pulling the detonator cord, trying to blow herself. This is the moment of blowing herself up.
How old is she?
She was 21 at the time.
21, yeah.
And it didn't go off. And so this is her screaming in frustration and rage, and I turned that into that image.
And what did you learn about her from that?
Well, she pled for mercy. She said, I didn't kill anybody, please help me. And what I learned from all of these people was the same thing. By the way, when I wrote the introduction to the book, I said, I always wanted to write a book about the lessons I learned. And I said, therefore, it's going to be a pretty small book. You know? Because I kept learning the same lessons everywhere. Which was that, you know, in the worst days of people's lives, they carry on. Somehow they carry on. And they have no choice. None of us have a choice. You know. And the other thing I learned was that I didn't realize how much I was helping many of these people. You know, in social media, right, there are so many ways to talk. But there are very few ways to be heard. And when a camera team turns up and visits somebody in these times, we are magnifying their message. You know, we're telling the world that they care, that we care about them. Somebody cares about you. And that's what I learned. And I care about them.
Well, Martin, this book is fantastic. We miss you so much at NBC, but you're doing such great work. Where are you living?
Mexico.
Oh, nice. Enjoy your life, as you should. Martin, thank you. You guys pick up the book. It is called Teachers. It will teach you to. The proceeds go to, what is it called? Where do they go?
Artolution.
Artolution.
It's a charity that brings art to refugees around the world.
Brilliant.
And all the money from the book is going to go to Artolution.
Of course it is. Wow. Martin, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Happy you're here.
Thank you. You can head to today.com for that. And don't forget, if you're in New York, stop by Christie's. The exhibit runs for view from Wednesday through April 7th. Cool. Martin, thanks so much.
Very cool.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.